Welcome to Michigan Reimagined, presented by T.A. Forsberg and Wagoner Financial. And here's your host, Chris Buck.
So I believe it was in July of 2021 when I was first introduced to the concept called Strikeout Baseball. A few years and a lot of hard work later, the team is back to announce a grand opening. So here to discuss the path and the future is the founder of Strikeout Baseball, Mr. Jeff Lazaros, community ambassador and board member Ashlee Willis, and fabulous surprise guest, last minute participant. We got the mayor of Lansing, Mr. Andy Schor. Really grateful to have you here.
Great to be here.
Thanks, everyone. So, Jeff, just to remind people who maybe aren't familiar with the story, talk about how Strikeout Baseball started. Where did the idea come from?
You know, we all played baseball as kids growing up. You know, you can talk about stickball, wiffle ball, all these modified versions of baseball. And, you know, I'm a Detroit guy, born and raised, and I always say baseball is a way of life. And for us, it wasn't just about the game. It was about learning all the things about life. And, you know, we have a lot of people on our board and baseball advocates that will echo that, because it means so much to us to see this not only come to life for us as big kids,
Yep.
but for the kids in the community that will now learn a new way of playing baseball, to get gloves into their hands and some bats in their hands and playing the game of baseball that we all love. And it's just exciting, that the support that we've had through all this. So I just say that I tell stories of how growing up we played 9-on-9, and we'd have 9 kids waiting outside the fence to play the winning team. I mean, you're talking 30 kids at a city park.
Right.
We don't get 6 or 8 together, you know? So this is a way.
Why is that?
I think it just, computers, video games, you know, 4 kids sitting around aren't going to say, let's go play baseball. It's just not feasible. But now they have an environment where the ball stays confined, so we've kind of created this unique way of kids to get engaged with actually playing baseball with some modified rules. But we played a game a couple weeks ago, and it's a lot of fun for us big kids too, I'll tell you.
Very nice. So hit us with where this facility is going to be.
Ferris Park.
Where it is. It's already built.
Ferris Park, Walnut and Shiawassee. Really a great place for it, because you got the Beacon Field, which is a great tool to get kids active and playing soccer.
Yep.
Now we have a miniature baseball field all on one property. What a great fit. What a great location. Really an area that could use a shot in the arm. And we're really revitalizing that whole block, because that was one of John's big things. And, of course, we'll get into John Smoltz. But John said, you know, I don't want this thing to be like a diamond in the middle of this area. He goes, I want it to bring vibrance to the whole community.
Yep.
And that's really what we feel we've done through trying to get this implemented, is bringing something exciting to the kids and the people in that area.
Right on. Mayor Schor, can you talk a little bit about this park and you know, how you were approached and you know, the council and Parks and Rec, and how you guys got involved with this?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, Ferris Park it's right downtown. We're doing a lot throughout the city, but certainly downtown we've got an accessibility park, we've got Beacon Field. I think I ran into Jeff somewhere, or he scheduled a meeting when I got elected. You know, everybody wanted to meet the new mayor. But Jeff and I kind of hit it off, right? Because I grew up in New York. In the suburbs, and you know, we would play stickball at the local park. We'd walk 10 minutes to the park and have our stickball bat, and there would be basically 2-on-2, or I would play wiffle ball on the side of my house, 1-on-1, right? If it hits the house, it's out. If you know, you have to hit it straight.
Yep.
As long as I can remember, I played organized baseball, but we also played kind of this smaller version. So when Jeff explained it to me, it really flashed me back, and I thought, what a great opportunity for Lansing kids. Again, you can't always get, you know, 2 full teams to show up on a diamond, or you know, maybe there's an organized game going on. So it's just hard to activate that. But having a smaller park with smaller opportunity, with kids who can just kind of pick up and go, it's just a great opportunity for our Lansing kids. And Jeff wanted to do it here in our city, and John wanted to do it where there were a lot of kids. And I just think this is going to be a tremendous asset for our city.
Wonderful. And you talk about it being a modified setup. So for those who aren't familiar, how is this different than another baseball field that everyone has seen?
It's about the size of a Little League field. It's a confined space with graphics that replicate a ballpark. Gives a kid a feel like he's really in there playing professional baseball. I mean, we have a sound effects machine. We have, you know, a public address announce system.
Nice.
So here's kids that'll play against their friends and feel like they're really on a professional ball field, right? But we have a net, and it's some modified rules where you're not running bases. There's no fly balls because of the confined space. But it's actually pitching, hitting, and fielding, the elements of baseball. And it creates that, you know, action-packed part of the game being in that element. And, you know, one of the things that we see with our younger kids that play baseball is the kid out picking dandelions or,
Right.
you know, whatever in right field, right? Well, that's not going to happen here because there's action. You know, that's what's fun about this is the action's right there in front of you.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned some John Smoltz guy. No, just kidding.
You know who he
Lansing
is?
legend. I absolutely know who he is. I've shared it a couple of times with John himself. So you're a New Yorker. I'm a Philadelphian. Yes. So he mowed down my Phillies.
And my Mets.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yes. I told
So
him
we
that.
all know John.
I told him I'm a Mets fan. I said, you're a great guy, but I hate you for what you did to my Mets. He agreed.
Yeah, and I said the exact same thing to him when he spoke at the Economic Club series the other year. But anyway, so John, a local legend, and honestly, I've lived here for a number of years before I realized he was a Michigan guy and a mid-Michigan guy. So talk a little bit about how he heard about this. How did you befriend him? What his role is with this organization?
Persistence, tenacity, dedication. I reached out to a friend that knows his sister a couple years back.
Okay.
His sister brought his dad to my place, and we sat down and talked. And I do want to mention Mr. Smoltz. He was really a huge advocate for this project early on. Obviously, we've lost him along the way. And
Yep.
John's really excited for, you know, having worked together to see this through on behalf of the hard work and dedication his dad put into this as well. He was out knocking on doors. He was raising money. We were shooting videos when he was in town. Just really believed in the project and knew that his son's name could really add some credibility to this whole thing, being, you know, where he's from. This is his roots. This is, you know, that's really what we're trying to do is honor John for his roots here in Lansing.
Yep.
And, of course, his accomplishments in baseball are, you know, speak for themselves. But I'm just humbled to have him in our corner. What a great person to the core. Someone told me when I had met John, they go, you know, he's a way better person than he ever was a ball player. And it's true. He's really an amazing guy. You can ask Ashlee here. He's flown in to be in our board meetings for a day and flown out. I mean, how cool is that?
Right.
You know, just to be involved and have some input. He believes in the project. In his words, baseball has had a problem over the years in growing, not just in inner cities, but with our kids in general. They just don't play the game. There's too many other things that they can do with baseball or with football and you know, basketball and computers, video games like we mentioned. But this is a tool to get our kids active and playing their national pastime.
And I think we had a conversation before. I mean, you don't see John's name on a lot of stuff. So the fact that he found enough value in this particular project in this particular city speaks volumes to where his heart is really at.
Yeah.
He talked about being really selective as to the places he's probably get asked regularly to sponsor or endorse or whatever. And
yeah, well, I remember early on we had a phone call with the mayor and Brett Kaczynski, our Parks and Rec director, and John, the four of us. And that was one of the things John wanted to clear with the mayor, say, hey, we're not going to face any backlash from what we're trying to do, right? And I think the mayor's response was, I think there's going to be other parts of the city that say, why didn't we get it? So maybe now we need to think about an expansion and go, where's number 2 going, right?
Right. Well, talking about community development, I'll give a nod to my friends at the Forsberg Real Estate Company. When it comes to creating the best living and working environments in the community, no one does it better than my friends at the Forsberg Real Estate Company. Brent Forsberg and his team create vibrant, holistic communities that inspire growth and encourage belonging. Focused on building stronger connections for people, the Forsberg Project is always in tune with balancing relationships to create the optimum human experience. Since the 1950s, Forsberg has been enhancing the quality of the lives and the communities they serve by following the principles of regenerative growth and aligning the resources and tools available. Reach out to them by calling at 517-349-9330 or check out their website at lansingrealestate.com. So, you know, you talk about all of the work that's been done to get this all put together, and John's obviously a big part, but while I want to make sure we express the generosity behind John, he also just didn't stroke a check and make this super easy to get done. He really wanted, I think he wanted, and maybe you wanted, to have a variety of people making this come to fruition. So maybe Ashlee, I know, you know, this might be in your wheelhouse. Who else have you relied on and leaned on to make this thing a reality? Because it wasn't cheap or easy or fast. So
yeah, we've had a tremendous amount of support with the business community. They've come together wanting to support this project, which has been great. And because of their support, this project has been a numerous success.
That's great. And I know when I just walked in as we were getting set up, we talked about, I mean, and Jeff, you shared with me offline about people donating even like the steel or the nets or the, just like not only are people writing checks that maybe are not in this industry. So local, insurance companies or banks or those kinds of things giving you money to the nod, but also just materials, right? The groundswell of getting this all put together. Can you share more brands or people? I know you might, it's always scary because you're going to leave people out.
Yeah,
So
our big sponsors, MSU, FCU was very kind and generous in the way of contributing. Mark McDaniel at Sinair is a huge part of this whole thing too. You'll hear more from Mark because Mark is really an advocate for what we're trying to do, not just in growing the game, but of course he's part of the community as well. There's just a whole list of them. Jackson National Life, a lot of the insurance agencies from around have contributed. It's not even like you said about monetary. It's just about wrapping your arms around something for the kids, and it's humbling because you're coming to people with an idea on something that doesn't exist anywhere. And they go, "You want money for what? What is this?" They don't even know, right?
Right.
They're taking our word for it as a board to sell them on the fact that we have people like Andy Schor and the community that have been a huge part of supporting this to give us that, I'll say inertia, right? To give us that foundation of belief that we do have something cool. And of course, John's name adds a lot of credibility to being involved and behind this.
So what's left? We'll talk about the grand opening because you're clearly rounding third and heading to home. But how can listeners still participate financially or in person? I mean, we'll talk about the event, but I remember you're selling bricks and
we have a
other
walkway
things
of bricks that have been kind of a cool thing to get people involved, whether it's somebody just honoring their mom or dad or just supporting youth baseball in the community, whatever that looks like. That would probably be the only thing we have left. We've pretty much sold out of all the different advertisements and things because of limited space. We didn't want it to be crazy busy, but there are a lot of bigger names in the community that have supported this. So we're excited by that. But then it gives an opportunity for some of the smaller businesses to wrap their arms around something that's so cool. So
we've seen a lot of people purchase bricks just for, a nice gift for a loved one because it's a lasting impact that's part of this project. So
how can they get to that? How do they register to get a brick?
Yeah, I believe they can still go online and make that purchase. All of the instructions are right online on the Strikeout Baseball.
Got it. And what is that website?
You want to say
strikeoutbaseballusa.org.
Perfect.
There's a spot. Buy a brick. You can click on it. Design your brick. It's kind of cool. It's a bigger brick too. It's not like the little ones. It's the big brick on the main walkway, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
And there are some cool features that people will see coming up to the grand opening that we're not going to disclose here.
Wonderful.
But we're excited for people that will maybe entice people to come out and see some cool stuff on June 6th.
Nice quotes on the bricks. I mean, names, families, a list of names of families.
Perfect. All right. So June 6th. Talk to us a little bit about what people experience and what's going on.
That's Ashlee's wheelhouse.
Our grand opening is going to be on June 6th. This is going to be more of a community involvement with the kids. I know some of the school districts are going to have a half day, so this is a nice celebration for last day for kids to come and celebrate. But we're going from 4:30 to 7:30 right at Ferris Park. We're going to have a lot of vendors, music, food, just a nice celebration, a nice opportunity for everyone to see the stadium and experience it on their own. And it's not just for children. We have adults as well too, because I'm sure they're going to want to have an opportunity for that as well too. So, and John Smith will be there as well. So it's a nice opportunity for the kids to meet and mingle with him too.
How fantastic is that? That's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so the fanfare, what it is, why it is, all makes sense to me. So how about after all the ribbons are cut and the dust settles, how is this going to be programmed? Mayor, maybe this is maybe a question for you or John, you can kick us off and we can go around the horn, but
Brett Kaczynski's been a big part of this too, our Parks and Rec director, in helping facilitate some programming.
Okay.
We're working with Jake Boss at MSU, Zach Clark at the Lugnuts. We're working with some of the local coaches to bring in some professional and collegiate players to run some clinics.
Oh, nice.
And I may have shared this in the last segment, but I'll just talk about it again real quick.
Please.
So we had ordered a piece of netting for the stadium, which is like a 5,000 square foot piece of netting. And I got 3 boxes delivered to my house a year ago, August. And I said, oh my gosh, they sent it in 3 pieces. And when I opened the boxes up, John had made a phone call to Wilson and sent me 3 big boxes of brand new, beautiful leather baseball gloves that we're going to give to the kids in the community to arm them with the tools to play baseball. I mean, I get choked up talking about it because that's where John's heart is. It's not, hey, look what I've done, stroke a check, put my name on this. It's let's do some things to get kids involved and engaged in the game. That speaks volumes. He's a legend.
It does. That's fantastic.
It's amazing, right?
And Parks and Recs is doing a nice support of our clinics as well too. So I know the booklet that they're going to be passing out in the summer, spring programs will have all the clinics listed in there for the community to be involved.
That's great. That's great. And there's so much energy going on in downtown Lansing. I mean, I've been, in my day job in the ecosystem that I tend to vibe in, and this show in particular, I was shocked to see the back of the napkin, list of projects that are coming. And they're not just, we're hoping that this guy will bring this to the finish line. It is grounded, has been broken. Yeah. Cranes are coming. Yeah. Ink is being signed. Approvals are being given for, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of transformational energy to the downtown core. And so having this park within walkability, as whether you're a spectator or you forgot to bring your glove, but you know what, there's a place where you can grab one out of the bin and throw the ball around with your son without expecting to. Those make the memories. So
we're focusing a lot on housing.
Yes.
So we want more people to live throughout the city, but especially downtown. So again, having an amenity like this, it's huge. If you're living in the 28-story new tower, regardless of income, you can walk over to Ferris Park and you can play strikeout baseball. You can play soccer at Beacon. You can go over to the accessibility park, right over by Saginaw. These are the amenities that we want and expect. And the more people we have thousands of people living downtown. They want the grocery store, and we've provided that. They've got a stadium where they can go watch the Lugnuts play, but they also are going to have strikeout baseball where they can play themselves. So when we talk about sharing the love of baseball that many of us grew up with, now you've got them folks having a place to watch with an affordable ticket and go and play.
Makes a ton of sense. And when you're talking about places for people to live, I'll give a nod to my folks at Keller Williams. We all need a place to call home. Chris Silker of Keller Williams Advantage and Team offers expertise you're looking for. He's helped clients navigate the complicated world of real estate in mid-Michigan for over 10 years, providing the best information possible at the right time to empower the best decisions. Whether you're a first-time home buyer looking for a local expert to guide you from point A to point B, searching for an income property in the competitive Lansing market, right-sizing your life, or just searching for that dream home, Chris Silker and the Advantage and Team is the name to trust in Greater Lansing real estate. Visit advantageandteam.com or call Chris Silker at 517-242-9251 today to find the home of your dreams. So you got June 6th is coming. It's going to be a big fanfare. John's going to be in town. What else is kind of involved in this run of show?
Yeah, so like I said, lots of music, vendors. We're going to have our sponsors be vendors as well, just passing out nice giveaways to the kids. I mean, it's just a fun family event that you can just really enjoy yourself. And it's really nice that, activating the park a little bit more. So that's what the important part is. And then kids, it's a walkability. So the families that are within the neighborhoods, it's the opportunity for them just to walk over and have a great celebration.
Right. And baseball in Michigan's never been higher. I mean, I guess it has, but I mean, the Tigers are playing really good ball. Sure. The Lugnuts. I mean, you got Michigan State. You mentioned Jake Boss, who's the coach of the MSU baseball team. If you're not familiar with that name, that was dropped a little while ago. But I mean, it's baseball season, and I think having a June 6th kickoff, or I should say first pitch, makes the most sense. That's a really good timing on your behalf.
Yeah, let me add that we will have an inaugural game with kids playing a game, so everybody can watch some kids actually play strikeout baseball, see the functionality, see the demographics of how the game's played, because that's part of the learning curve for us now is teaching kids something different, because we've had a lot of people come and go, what is this? How do you play? It's cool, but it's small. We're like, yeah, that's the whole object is to create that action-packed environment for kids to want to play, to get them engaged. So once people see these kids play at the grand opening, I mean, what an honor for these kids that will get to play a game and have John Smoltz with a headset on announcing their names to come up. I mean, it's going to be really cool, right? So John's excited about that too.
Yep.
So not only do we give away some gloves and get the kids excited about something new, but we get to watch some kids' excitement of playing a game in front of a Hall of Famer. I mean, it's going to be amazing.
That's fantastic. Anything I've missed, I wanted to make sure I teed you up for all the details. I mean, we're at the home stretch. We've shared the story a number of times on this particular show, but we're there, or you're there. I mean, you guys have shouldered the load. I'm really proud of you, Jeff, for getting this all done, and Ashlee for your support, and the mayor for all the city services that you're allowing this to all happen, and then the service after the sale is a really big deal for this as well.
I would say this is my perfect platform to say thank you, Mayor, for not only believing in the project, but the friendship, and the support and the things that you've done with Brett and the people. And it's really a great coming together. They say it takes a village. That smacked me right in the face about 2 years ago when I realized I wasn't going to do this alone.
Yep.
And it's really cool, the people that I've met along the way, the board members that we've befriended, and just a great community. Thank you to everybody. Chris, you've had us on here 3 or 4 times supporting it. I know you're a baseball guy, but it's for the kids, and the community did this. This is really a touching thing to me to see all this come together with people like, the mayor and all the people that have had a hand in on this. It's awesome.
I was gonna thank Jeff. It's being mayor. I can tell you get a lot of people who come to you with a lot of really good ideas, and then they expect the city to just do it.
Right.
That wasn't Jeff. Jeff came to me with this great idea, and again, I thought, it's a great idea, but he said to me, I don't want anything from you but a letter of support. I said, that's it? That's all you want? That's all I want. And he took that and he went out and he organized a board, and, having Ashlee with her experience. And then he went out to the community and said, this is my vision, Jeff Lazaros. This is what my vision is to get this done. He was persistent. He sold John Smoltz on doing this in his city. And then he came back and said, all right, I'm there. Here's what we need. We need a location. We need, a few things. And we said, all right, you're there. This isn't just, I have an idea. This is, I have an idea. I have support. I have financials. Where can we work together on the land? It's something that is so hard to do, to be honest with you, to have an idea, but be able to make it happen. It's so hard to do. So really, Jeff is just a wonderful human being, and he cares, and he put all that care into effort, and he brought the right people on. With Ashlee and the rest of the board. So this is textbook, right? This is what you send in for case study on how to actually get something done.
For the record, I did come back and ask for a little money.
A little. We don't mind a little bit when you've actually got a lot. So that's right.
But there's no big deal. That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. StrikeoutBaseballUSA.org is where you can go to buy a brick. You can find them on social handles. And you can learn more about the event that's coming up on June 6th. But if you're not there, I don't know where your head's at. You need to get into the city of Lansing. Go check out this new endeavor on June 6th. Congratulations, guys. I can't believe you made it. Actually, I can believe you made it. I can't believe the day is finally here is really the sentiment I wanted to get out here. Yeah,
exactly. I can't believe we got the mayor here today to share his excitement with us, man. This is cool.
Very excited.
Well, fantastic endeavor, Strikeout Baseball coming on June 6th. Thanks so much for joining me here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Chris.
And I wanted to give a final shout out to all the loyal sponsors: Forsberg Real Estate, Wagoner Financial, Triterra Environmental, Good Marketing, Keller Williams Advantage and Team, Michigan Rise, and the attorneys at Foster Swift. All fantastic people doing great work in our communities. And if you found the show as a one-off, I want to remind you to follow and subscribe to Michigan Reimagined on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere you find your podcasts. This is Chris Buck signing off for Michigan Reimagined.